Hey there, folks. I'm Tito, Jeff Thitoff. This is the Jeff Thitoff Show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Big show lineup for you today. Yeah, Highness is going to join us. He's a betting expert, professional gambler, and we'll get his picks on the Super Bowl. He's got a bunch of Super Bowl parlay bets to share with you. Also, a couple of contests. A contest he has going on now, and another one he's going to have that one for the Super Bowl, and another one for March Madness. He's going to tell us about that as well. Jacob Rhymer is going to join us. College basketball expert. College won't be stupid right now. College basketball expert. It is Jacob Rhymer. We will talk to him also later on in the show as well. I want to start off talking about the Hall of Fame vote. They finally released all the results for it, and it was interesting because when they talked about earlier that Bill Belichick did not make it, that was the report. Then the report came out that Eli Manning didn't make it either. He's now one of two-time Super Bowl winning quarterbacks not in the Hall of Fame, the other one being Jim Plunkett. And then also we heard that Robert Kraft did not get in either. And so I want to talk about Roger Craig got in. Roger Craig did get in, and which I think is great. Roger Craig deserved to get in, but the other two guys on the ballot, though, were Ken Anderson, quarterback for the Cincinnati Bengals, and L.C. Greenwood from the famous steel curtain defense from the 1970s of the Pittsburgh Steelers. They did not get in. It's a class of five now. You've got Drew Brees, Luke Kuechly, Adam Vinatieri, Larry Fitzgerald, and then Roger Craig. So five people in the class this year. Brees and Fitzgerald, no surprise they got in. They absolutely should get in. Luke Kuechly, he was for a period of 5 to 7 years maybe one of the best linebackers, if not, I'd say one of the best. One of the best linebackers in the NFL. Adam Vinatieri made some of the biggest kicks of all time. Clutch kicker. It's going to be hard for a kicker getting going forward. So I don't have a problem with any of these guys getting in. I don't have a problem with Roger Craig getting in either. I think Roger Craig deserved to be in as one of those people who was a big part of those 49ers teams. But what I like and what I don't like, let's put it that way, about the way the Pro Football Hall of Fame voting goes. It's tough to get in. It should be tough to get in. But there's a lot of good players that have not gotten in yet. And there's ones that even this year did not get voted in. And it makes it exclusive, which I like. I don't want everybody getting in. And I want it to be a challenge. Eli Manning not being in. He and Jim Plunkett, only two players to do two Super Bowl winning starting quarterbacks to not get in. Plunkett won 2 with the Raiders, Eli 2 with the Giants. I get that. Torrey Holt's not in. Reggie Wayne's not in yet. Those guys are both great receivers that are probably getting pushed back just because there are so many great receivers. Look at the numbers the numbers that receivers put up now. And there's a lot of guys with numbers that blow away numbers of guys from the 80s and 70s and 60s that got in. And so it's hard to look at that and decide, how do we compare these things? Because there's a lot more passing now in the NFL. There's a lot more running back then. It's a much different game. And so there's a lot of good players that are not in the Hall of Fame. Now, next year it gets interesting. Next year's Hall of Fame class, there's going to be some new blood cut that will be voted on. Adrian Peterson's one of them. Rob Gronkowski is another one. Ben Roethlisberger. Let's start with just those three. I think Peterson's a lock. I do believe Peterson will be a lock to get in. I know he had some off-the-field stuff that went on, but Peterson should be a first-time Hall of Famer. Gronk. You've got Rob Gronkowski, and there's a guy carrying over from this year, Jason Witten. I could make the case that Jason Witten is the better option. I know he doesn't have the rings. He doesn't have the personality, I guess is the way I would put it, that Gronkowski has. So I think Peterson's in. I think that one of either Gronkowski or Witten will get in. I don't think they'll put two tight ends in. Ben Roethlisberger is another one. Roethlisberger. Multiple Super Bowl wins as a starting quarterback. Great numbers. Has the NFL record for most 500-yard passing games in his career. He's got 4, believe it or not. Okay, let's look at Ben Roethlisberger versus Eli Manning. If you only put one of those in, which one goes in? I'm biased as a Steelers fan. I think Roethlisberger. But they might put Manning in before him, or neither one might get in next year on the first ballot. That first ballot thing is always a weird thing where they don't want some people to be on the first ballot. They think you got to be a certain level of player to be on that. So, and then Richard Sherman's another one. Richard Sherman, Legion of Boom. Does he get in? He was a big guy. He was like 6'3" or 6'4". I think it was 6'3". And big part of that Super Bowl winning team for the Seahawks. So Sherman's always going to get on this list. So we've got all the guys that didn't make it in this year. I mean, outside of the senior guys and the contributors, Kraft and Belichick, but like you've also got these other guys like Witten, I just mentioned. Jason Witten did not get in. Does Antonio Brown get in? Antonio Brown, for a stretch, was the best receiver in the NFL. He was fantastic. He went loco, but he was fantastic up until a certain point. And it's all by his own doing. I get it. But I think that he is a Hall of Famer. Now, they might give him the TO treatment where they wait for a while before they put him in. But again, you got this backlog then of players. We have more and more players coming in and having the opportunities, and they only have a limit. They have a set limit how the most they can put in each year. You can't have now, I know there's a few years back that a blowout thing where they let a bunch of people in for that one season. I don't think that they're going to do that again. But so there's only, I think, like 5 to 8 people can get in every year total. So if you put Brown to the front of the list, then you're pushing Reggie Wayne and Torrey Holt back and guys like that. Brown was better than them, but Brown might get the TO treatment. Le'Veon Bell's on the ballot. I'm not worried. He's not getting in. Le'Veon Bell, the way he handled things and the way it worked out for him, not good. He will not get in. But I'll give you one more name here. And I don't think he'll get in, but I think you can make a case for him being in. Cam Newton. Now, Newton never won a Super Bowl, obviously, but he did go 15-1 that year, MVP season for the Panthers. And for a while, a long time, until just recently, he held the record for most rushing touchdowns in a career by a quarterback. I don't think Newton gets in. But let me ask you this, Newton or Eli Manning? Think about that one. Newton or Eli Manning? Newton had a skill set unlike any other quarterback really before. Eli's got 2 Super Bowls. Eli had a longer career being relevant and being successful. Regular season, Eli's a 500 quarterback. Doesn't put up great numbers. Never had a Cam Newton type season. The MVP season, Eli never had that. But he did get 2 Super Bowl wins over Tom Brady, including the big one when New England was undefeated, going for the undefeated season. It's funny, I had a discussion with Justin Zwick, former Ohio State quarterback, and we were talking about this, and I had mentioned how, look, Eli doesn't get in unless that helmet catch is made or the catch on the sideline was by Manningham on that one. There were a couple of big-time catches, like great plays by receivers, fantastic plays by the receiver that led to those Super Bowl victories. And like a true quarterback, Zwick says to me, dead serious, yeah, but the quarterback had to put the ball there. Only place he could put the ball was there. So he defends the quarterback. Yes, we talk about Tyreek, the catch, the David Tyree catch, the helmet catch. Sure, fantastic catch, but Eli had to put the ball right there for him to get it. So it depends on what you believe on that one. Do you believe the catch made the quarterback, or the quarterback was the one who actually made what the catch was, kind of thing? I'm not saying made the catch. I'm saying made the significance of the catch and made it possible. So those are all guys on that. So Pro Football Hall of Fame, I love that we can argue about it. It's always a hot topic, especially this year with the Belichick Kraft thing, and who got in, who didn't. And we'll see what happens next year with that. But now I want to bring on Your Highness, Chad at WeWinYouWin.com, talk about Super Bowl betting. All right, folks, now it's a treat. We're joined by Your Highness, Chad. WeWinYouWin.com is where he's at there. He joins us here on the Jeff Thitoff Show. Studio audience really appreciate you, Chad, there. That's great.
Yeah. Live and in studio, baby.
Right. That's how we do it, man. That's how we do it. So the Super Bowl is the single most bet on event, right? Every year by far.
Yes, sir. Like for the last 30 or 40 years. Yep.
So Your Highness, I can't wait to hear what kind of bets you got lined up, what ones you've taken, ones you recommend, all of that. Let's rip through them.
All right, real quick, I'm going to do a shameless plug, and
Please.
Then we're going to get into it because I'll forget otherwise. So I have about 25 Super Bowl squares left for this Super Bowl. We donate $10 for every Super Bowl square to Jacksonville Sports Boosters, which is helping underprivileged kids in their community play sports. So they're covering the cost of because the parents can't. What I'm doing, because we're not selling me as fast as I want, is I'm running a special from now to the Super Bowl, every square you purchase, you'll get a free month's access to our community. So if you buy 2 squares, you'll get 2 months free to the community. So a couple of your morning radio show listeners took me up on that offer yesterday, so I appreciate them. Obviously, any of your fan stream people want to do that, I would appreciate that as well. All right, here's what I'm gonna do for those listening at home. I have about 30 bets to go over. I'm gonna rip through them.
Let's do it.
I've broken them down into fun, kind of entertainment type bets, and then more serious bets. So what I'll tell you is the fun ones I go over, don't bet a lot of money on these. These are fun little, in everybody's pockets are different, but whatever is an insignificant amount of money to you, that's what you should be betting on. The fun ones, the more serious bets, those you want to put, a little bit more money on. And again, I don't want to tell everybody what they should bet. You know your budget at home. Make sure you stay within it. All right. So starting off with the fun bets, we're going to go on touchdown type based props here. So I have Mac Hollins as the last touchdown scorer at plus 22.5, so 22.5 to 1 at FanDuel. I have Mac Hollins as an anytime touchdown scorer. You can get this on Fanatics or FanDuel. One's at like 450, the other one's at 550. Stevenson, the running back for New England, anytime touchdown plus 150. AJ Barner, anytime touchdown plus 250. Sorry, that's FanDuel and then DraftKings. Stevenson, first Patriots reception plus 450. That's at Caesars.
Tell me why you like that one, the Stevenson first.
Great. Yep. So Stevenson, first reception. This is a game flow type thing. So again, remember, this is Drake May's second year in the league. This is his first year in the playoffs. Rookie quarterbacks or first time starting quarterbacks in the Super Bowl tend to be a little jittery. They tend to make mistakes in the first quarter. I think no better way than to get a young quarterback comfortable than doing like a little check down or a screen pass or something easy, less than 5 yards. No better than Stevenson, who, by the way, does very well catching the ball out of the backfield versus Henderson. So he's more of the catching back. Henderson's the big explosive guy. Obviously, your Ohio State fans are very familiar with him, but he's your big explosive guy. Stevenson's more the workhorse. I do have 2, and these are long shots, folks, touchdown parlays. One is Drake May, JSN, and Hollins all score touchdown. That means May has to get a rushing touchdown or a catching touchdown. Obviously, JSN, another Ohio State guy for you, has to get a touchdown, and then Mac Hollins. That is plus 6,000, 60 to 1. 60 to 1. So it's a long shot. So even like a $10 bet, they'll pay you big there. And then I also have one other touchdown parlay, which is Stevenson and Hollins, both the New England guys, both getting an anytime touchdown, and you can get this at 14 to 1. All right, so those are all touchdown-based kind of props. Let's get into the gimmicky, novelty, fun, props. Now, all of these have research data I put behind them. They're all plus EV, meaning the hit rate is higher than the implied odds for those that care. All right, so opening kickoff to be a touchback or a fair catch at plus 200. First drive of the game, regardless of the team, ends in a punt. 2-point conversion is attempted by
Let's
either
go back
team.
to the punt one real quick. The punt, first possession, either team ends up being a punt. What's your thought process behind that?
Well, my first bet is that the opening kickoff will be a touchback or for a fair catch. So that's already starting them somewhere around, let's say, the 25 to 35 and the 40 range, somewhere right in there. So they have to go at least 30 to 40 yards to even get into field goal range. That's my first thought. Again, back to the jitters. I think even the 10-year veteran guys have a little extra emotions in this game. I mean, this is the Super Bowl, right? So I think the play calling is going to be conservative. I think you're going to see a lot of runs on the first drive, regardless of which team it is. And also, I think the defense is going to be jacked. The only way I think we lose this is on a broken coverage type thing where if like a player like Diggs or JSN gets out on a slant, breaks it, there's where you lose. But otherwise, I think they're just short check downs, running the ball, kind of getting everybody just kind of acclimated to the jitters in the game. And I think that does result in I think we're going to see a very conservative play calling in the first half of this game. And then I think in the second half, coaches are going to start opening up, going for 2, going for it on 4th down. Both these coaches have a tendency to go for it on 4th down. I'll get into that in a second. So my bets kind of make sense. I follow a game script. The opening kickoff, touchback, fair catch. The next bet, in succession would be the first drive to be a punt. So my game plan is that there's a touchback. They start kind of deeper in their own end zone. Even if they get a first down or two, they could still punt. Then we have 2-point conversion is attempted. Doesn't have to be successful. That's plus 160 at Caesars. The shortest touchdown of the game to be over 1.5 yards. So basically, the only way we lose this bet is if there's a 1 yard goal line, punch it in type touchdown.
Is that
This is,
historically in that favor?
yeah. And if I want to be funny, I mean, we got the Seahawks. We know they're not going to run it on the 1 yard line. They're going to throw the ball. So, it's not a long shot play. It's plus 110. So this isn't some crazy long shot play, but it is plus money. And historically, I want to say it's like 60 some percent of the Super Bowl's last 20 years never had a touchdown 1 yard or less. So more than half. Here's another fun one. The jersey number of the first touchdown score, 11.5. If I did my homework right, I think JSN is number 11
He is
for
indeed.
Seattle.
Yep.
That means he is included. That gives me 3 Patriots. And I always say it this way to make people laugh. May, Diggs, Booty. Those are your 3 Patriots. And then you have, I'm going to draw a blank. Walker.
Kemba Walker, JSN.
Darnold.
Does Darnold, I can't remember what Darnold is.
No, he's like 14 or 12 or something. I had it written down somewhere. There's another player in there I can't think of right now for the Seahawks. You should have 6 players in total. And that's actually the only minus money. It's minus 130. All these rest are plus money. All right, both teams to convert on 4th down, yes.
Cooper Kupp's number 10.
There you go. I knew there was a third one. There you go. Yep. Cooper Kupp. So a little slot guy. So if they get down the goal line, there's a guy that could possibly get a red zone touchdown. 4th down conversion, both yes. Okay, a doink. This is my favorite bet. I don't have a bunch of research on this. This is just pure entertainment. But if any field goal or extra point hits the uprights, what they call a doink, it's plus 600 over at DraftKings. We haven't any interception for either team where the play starts inside the red zone, which by definition is the 20-yard line or less. So if they're inside the 20-yard line and either team throws an interception, that's plus 330.
What do you like on that one? Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, no, I'll go over that in a second. Actually, I foresee Drake May throwing a red zone interception. Obviously, for this bet, it doesn't matter. Sam Darnold could do it. It would still pay the same. Historically, this is sneaky. It actually happens closer to about half the games, and you're getting plus 330.
Wow.
So, the implied odds are in the, I guess, expected value is there for that. All right, and then the last kind of gimmicky one is players with a pass attempt is over 2.5 players. Well, obviously, we know both starting quarterbacks are going to have a pass attempt. So this could be anything from a quarterback getting hurt and they have to bring in a backup quarterback for a play or two to wide receiver, tight end, running back throwing a pass, trickeration type thing. Does not have to be completed, just has to be attempted. Plus 160 DraftKings.
So if
let
me ask a question on that. So let's say they do that. So they do the pitch out to the running back and he goes out and is looking to pass and gets sacked. That does not win the bet. That would be a lost bet in that scenario, right?
That is correct.
Okay.
The ball has to leave the hand, and not a fumble. His ball's got to leave the hand in the passing motion. All right, here are some nerd stuff. And I'll be honest, this is the first year I got into this, but I think there are some edges here. And so on a lot of your major sports books this year, they're offering next gen stats bets you can bet. So for those that don't know what next gen is, basically in every single player's, I think, helmet, and also I think the footballs are chipped as well. They're tracking how fast these players are going, basically as it's a science. So based on the data, these are the 3 I call them, or 4, nerd bets I have. So Rashad Shaheed, most yards after the catch for one single catch. Okay, so let me break this down. Of all the catches in the game, this bet is saying that Shaheed will have the most yards after a catch out of anybody. On a single catch, it's 22-1.
Oh, okay.
Stevenson, most yards after the catch for a running back on a single catch, plus 420. That one just spoke to me. I'm not sure why. JSN, longest reception of the game. So again, his longest reception of the game needs to be 30 or more yards. And then this was just a little quirky one, but they had a boost on FanDuel. Kayshon Boutte, first quarter only, 5 or more receptions. I mean, not receptions, receiving yards. So just basically needs to catch one pass. It could be a little screen pass. It could be anything. Needs 5 yards or more receiving in the first quarter.
That's a good one. I like that one.
Well, I think also he's their big play guy.
Yeah.
So why not throw a bubble screen or something to him, try to get him out in the open? Doesn't have to be super successful. Just give me 5 yards.
Yeah.
All right. So those are all the fun ones. I won't go, some of those are kind of wild and crazy. Don't go too crazy. Now, all of these I have significant bets on. And again, that varies from person to person. And some of these are redundant because I bet them at multiple places on multiple lines. But probably my top play is Mac Hollins over, and I have him at 24.5, and I also have him at 25.5 receiving yards. I'm pretty sure most places right now it's at 25.5, but this is probably my largest bet of the Super Bowl, Mac Hollins. And I really think he can get it done in 1 and maybe 2 catches.
So that's over 25.5 yards receiving. How high would that number have to be for you to say, you know what, maybe not?
27.5 would be my stop point.
Okay.
All right, passing yards. These are your quarterbacks, and frankly, I'm all on Sam Darnold. So Sam Darnold over 228.5 passing. I also got a line at him at over 225.5 passing. I have a bet on Sam Darnold to have the most passing yards in the game, and I have a bet on Sam Darnold to have more passing yards head-to-head versus Drake May. So I'm real heavy on Sam Darnold chucking the rock. Now, my thought process is New England's front 5, front 7, very, very good. Their weakness is they can give up some chunk yards in the passing. And I stumbled on this. I wasn't even going to talk about this. I'm glad I thought about this right now. I was looking through this. I was bored yesterday. I was looking through all the schedules, and I was looking at all the quarterbacks that New England faced. And then I realized they faced nobody. They've faced absolutely nobody. They faced so many backup quarterbacks. Let's see if I can pull this up real quick. They faced so many backup quarterbacks and rookie quarterbacks. It's crazy. There was 4 quarterbacks that I would call legitimate, and they got killed statistically by them. Now, these I remember off my head. Twice was Josh Allen.
Mhm.
They gave up like 250 yards, at least 2 touchdowns, I think, 1 game 2, 1 game 3, and over 50 yards rushing. So Josh Allen destroyed their defense. That's one. The other one was beginning of the year. Tua put up like 300 some odd yards and 2 touchdowns, had a great game against them as well. And the other one was Baker Mayfield. Put up like, I want to say like 275 and 3 touchdowns. So all right, here we go. I got it right here. So those were all the good ones. Here are the not so good ones. So Stidham, we know about, that was last game. Stroud, who I know you folks in Columbus love him, but he's not had a great playoff. Herbert. But then in the regular season, Ewers, that's a backup quarterback. Cook, backup quarterback. When they played Baltimore, Jackson got hurt, only had 10 pass attempts. Huntley came in and finished that game. Allen, we talked about, destroyed him. Jackson, Dart, Flacco, Fields, Mayfield, we talked about. Penix, Gabriel, Ward, Rattler. Allen, we talked about. Young was taken out of that game. Andy Dalton came in. Rodgers, I know you're a Steelers guy, but he hasn't had the greatest year either. And then Tua. Oh, first game of the year. Geno Smith put 360 up on him. 360 yards from Geno Smith. So I'm looking at this. They beat up on the bad quarterbacks. They struggle against the good quarterbacks. They faced 7 backup quarterbacks this year, and they faced 5 quarterbacks that were rookies or first year starters, but second year quarterbacks, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So that's a lot of inexperience. We're talking about Sam Darnold, who, by the way, is now becoming more a veteran quarterback in the league. I think I've talked myself more and more into Seattle in this game, to be honest with you. But all right, let me get back to what I was at. Sorry, I went off on a tangent there. Sam Darnold parlays. We have a Sam Darnold parlay of 226 passing and 2 touchdowns. That's plus 200. We have a parlay of Sam Darnold 250 and 3 touchdowns. That's plus 500. And here was a fun one. Sam Darnold 220 and Jake Bobo. Jake Bobo is like a backup tight end for Seattle. We need him to have 1 receiving yard. If Sam Darnold can put up 220 and 1 yard goes to Bobo, that's plus 360, which I thought was a steal. All right, I'll leave you with these last ones. I'll answer any questions. I'm sorry, this is very long-winded. Stevenson to have the most rushing yards in the game. and Walker the third to be under 73.5 rushing yards. He's only eclipsed that number 2 or 3 times all year long. I want to say 9 out of 11 starts where he hit at least 15 carries, he was unsuccessful on hitting the 70-yard mark. All right, I do have a boosted on Fanatics. They had a 50% boost. I used that on Seattle money line to get that down to minus 120. And then my final little nugget of joy for you folks is both teams to have a successful field goal of 35 yards or longer.
Okay. I looked up Jake
That's a lot.
Bobo. That's a lot. I looked up Jake Bobo, and he had 2 catches for 3 yards. I think or two catches in the regular season, but he's also had 2 in the playoffs, 1 in each of the playoff games. So that's an interesting one there. The Jake Bobo one. I didn't even. I wouldn't have thought of that one. So
he's sneaky too, because he's not going to be a guy that the defense is going to focus on for those exact reasons, right? He's not getting a ton of targets. Well, there's nothing better than a big old guy in the middle of the field for a 5-yard check down to get us cash on a ticket. So I love that play.
You mentioned the community. If people sign up for the Super Bowl squares between now and the start of the game, every square you buy, you will also you go to wewin.com for that. But every square you buy will get you a month in the community. And explain to them what that means, the community.
Should I talk Italian or no? So the so this is I tend to be long-winded on your show versus the radio show because I think I have the time. But
absolutely,
I've been betting on sports since I was in elementary school. For whatever that's worth, don't get me in trouble. But about 4 or 5 years ago, I decided that I was going to start doing Super Bowl squares amongst buddies and things like that. And then this all evolved into me becoming a professional sports bettor. It just kind of morphed. What I did is I built out a community that I would want to be a part of if I was a sports bettor. So I'm still building something that would want to be a part of myself. So what we do is we have myself and 4 other professional or semi-professional sports bettors who post not only their plays, and when I say they post their plays, they're not just telling you, hey, go bet XYZ. They're showing you, here, I bet XYZ. They're showing you where they're putting their money, which is different than a lot of other places out there. I personally will go over each and every game for the games or for the sports I handle. And so whether I'm betting it or not, you get my breakdowns, my grades. I've taken years to build out these, basically I call mathematical equations. Some people call them algorithms, wherever they might be. But basically I take anywhere from 9 to 11 advanced analytics from that sport, put it into basically a formula that I've created that spits out a grading scale. That grading scale then corresponds with how you should bet on that game. So I do that for every single game for the community. We run giveaways. We give away about $200 in free bets through contests and polls and just fun little things. We do meetup events. So we've had like 5 or 6 meetup events. And actually, I think we're pretty much locked into Toledo, Ohio. So if you're in Ohio, come check us out sometime. But it's everything you want. There's a group of us. There's a group of 4 or 5 of us are going out to Vegas for March Madness. It's just, if you are somebody who bets on sports and you look around and nobody else nerds out on sports and sports betting like you do, then come be a part of us. I've taken people from all across the country that enjoy and love sports. And if you're a casual person who only bets maybe once a week or once a month, I'll be very transparent. It's not for you. We're betting every day. We're posting live bets. We're posting our opinions in the chat. I'm talking way too much here. Sorry.
No, you're fine. No.
But yeah, I'm terrible at selling myself. I was a great salesman before I got into this, and then I found myself, for whatever reason, I can't come on here and sell myself. I can sell your podcast, I can sell your radio show, I can sell everything, Tito, but I can't sell myself. And I think I'm working on something as I get older. I'm working on humility, which is a very, very tough characteristic to have in this business. Because ultimately I have to understand that I have zero control on what happens in this game. Once I place that bet, I am no longer in control. And I think a lot of professionals or people that say they're professional or people that do this regularly think that they are better than God and they have some better insight on everything else. And ultimately, what we're doing is we're taking very educated guesses and hoping to come out on the right side. In the long run, we do. Like I said, I've been doing this professionally now for over 3 years. We've never had a losing year. The most losing months I've ever had in 1 year was actually this year. We had 3 losing months this year, and they weren't crazy bad. And actually, our 4 biggest months away from 0 were all profitable. So our 4 biggest months were profitable, so that offset any losses. So look, I'm not perfect. I'm a plus money player. I'm not one of these guys you're going to see on here and come and give you minus 175, minus 200 because I want to brag that I'm 7-3 this week. That's not how homie rolls. I care about one thing and one thing only when it comes to sports betting, and that is ROI, return on investment. We're recording here on Friday. For instance, we made 2. DraftKings had a live boost for the golf tournament. We made 2 bets, one at plus 450, another one at plus 150. We hit the plus 450. We missed the other one. So I'm 1-1. Most people wouldn't brag about it, but guess what? I'm up 3.5 units.
Yeah.
That's what this is all about. And Jeff, too, hockey is another thing. We take a lot of plus money. Oh, can I plug one other thing I just thought
Please.
about? $100 to $1 million. $100 to $1 million is something I'm doing on YouTube. It's completely free to follow. I don't even think you need a YouTube account, but if you can access YouTube, you can access the videos. I posted one today already. We start with $100. We keep pressing it up to $1 million. We're currently today on the $250 question. That video is up on YouTube. The little @ symbol, shut up and bet. I don't know what else to say. I'm out of words. Sorry.
No, but it's a cool thing too. If you go look at it, the graphics for it, the way it's presented is really neat. I like that. And what I love about, and I've told you this from the beginning, guys, what I love about what you do is your transparency. And the fact that you get some guys who will not be completely forthcoming. You put all your stuff out there, like our guy Gerber, who does the golf betting. I know he's going to be on your show also, but like you guys both put everything out there. You say, this is my record. This is what I did yesterday. This is what I did in the last month, the last year, whatever it is. Like you put it out there though, and say, these are my picks. You don't try to say, I'm 3 out of my last 4 in this thing when really you might be 3 out of 7. You give the right, you put it out there exactly what it is you're intending to do. I love this 101 million thing. And different people will charge different things for their knowledge. Yours is the best value one I've seen, where you don't charge like an exorbitant amount. I mean, it's very reasonable to be part of the community. And like things like this with the squares, you give away months. You give away because you know that people that do it will be happy with your product.
I 100%. Like I said, the only time we miss on people is if they come in and take a look at us for a week or two, and for whatever reason that week happens to be a losing week. They do happen. Then they make me, or they probably think I'm like every one of these other chuckleheads, that come on here trying to sell. Look, the absolute most you could pay me at the highest price I offer would still be less than $600 a year.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not getting rich on you. I'm not getting rich on the community. I think we have just short of 100 people. So it's not like I'm bringing in boo bucks. And frankly, most of those people aren't even paying full price. So they're not even paying the full $50 a month. So yeah, I'm not here to make money on your backs, but I'm also not doing this for free. And so there was a fine line to what was fair. And so really how I came up with the price, if you wanted some more transparency, is I went online and I searched what is the average bet size for the American man between 30 and 50 years old. Okay. Because 85% of our community is that demographic. So Forbes had a great article. They're a pretty trusted, reputable source. I went with them. They said between $20 and $25 is the average bet size for your middle-aged working class man. I said, I'm worth 2 units. I'm worth 2 bets a month from you. That's how we came up with, and it's just under $50. That's how we came up with the price. We pulled the community as well, and we found that the mean or the average was right around that $20, $25 mark as well. So look, we have people that are $1, $2 bettors. We have guys in there that are betting $1,000 or $2,000 a game, and everywhere in between. So I had to find a way that makes sense for everybody. I wish I could do it on the honor system. Just whatever 2 units is for you, that's what I'll accept. I'm cool with that. But darn well, not everybody's going to do that right.
Right.
So 50 is where we ended up. And guess what? If you're that hard up for money and you really want to be a part of the community, message me. We'll figure something out. One person's membership doesn't make or break me. And I'll give you one other selling point here on the community is I've had people with me since day one, started 3 years ago. When I first went on your radio show, what was this? Late summer,
Mhm.
early
Yeah.
fall,
Yeah. Late summer.
right? I had 2 people sign up that very first week, and they have been with me ever since. Now, if you're sitting at home, you either think these people are complete freaking morons, or I might be onto something, right? Because
Yeah.
who else is gonna keep paying me for 3 years, or in this case, been paying me now for what, 8 months,
Right.
if I'm dog doo doo? So, don't listen to me, listen to the people. We have about a 90% retention rate, and a lot of times that's even there is because some people can only bet football. They when football season ends, they go their merry way, and then they come back in the fall. I'm trying to convert people into full degenerates, but we haven't been successful yet, yeah.
I'm telling you, look, and if you're on the fence about it, do this. Go buy a square. Go spend $60, buy the square, get a chance to win money just off of that. Give another reason to kind of watch, enjoy the game, and get your 1 month free. And then you can check it out for yourself. But yeah, it's well worth it. Your Highness, I appreciate you coming on. WeWinYouWin.com is where you can go and find and get the Super Bowl square or find out for. And they've got a bunch of games of that too, where like it's the corners are getting paid too, and there's a battleship element. There's all kinds of great fun things involved in this.
Yeah, and so that's I don't you can cut most of this. So for those that don't know, I spent over 10 years in the casino business. In about 5 of those years, I was an assistant manager, basically responsible for running a poker room, and part of my responsibilities was creating and putting on poker tournaments. I have a great passion for coming up with creative ideas and contests. So any of my contests, we run them just about every month, are never going to be your straight fastball. So this is Super Bowl squares, but it's more than just the 4 squares that hit. Like Jeff said, touching squares, reverse numbers, all sorts of things. And wait for March Madness. I might have come up with the greatest contest known to man for March Madness. Can I tease it a little bit? Can I
Please.
tease? Okay.
Yes.
Just because last night I finalized all the details of what I wanted. So 68 entries. It's capped at 68 entries. Why? Because there's 68 teams that make the tournament. What's going to happen is it's $75 to get in, flat for everybody. When you buy in, you pick a lottery or a bingo ball. There'll be numbers 1 through 68. Once we fill all 68, I'll go live on YouTube. And just like the Powerball, we'll start grabbing balls out of the hopper there. What's going to happen is, the bracket's broken into 4 regions. We'll
Right.
start in the top left region, and we're just going to go 1, 16, 2, right down just right, however they have it listed on the bracket sheets
Right.
and draw. So it's completely random who you get. Now, here's where we have fun. If you're one of the unfortunate sons of a gun to get one of the play-in teams, don't fret, my friend, because the play-in worth money too. 25 to win a play-in game. Once you make the actual field, okay, the first round, which would be Thursday, Friday, and the second round, Saturday, Sunday, winners are paid out based on shares. Shares are determined based on seeding. So let's use our first round, for example. You have the 1 seed, who is the Michigan Wolverines, which I know you love.
Of course, it's basketball.
So they win. They're the 1 seed. You'd get 1 share. There's $900 up for grabs. If a 15 seed would win, though, or a 12 seed or something like that, they'd get 12 shares. So they'd get 12 to 1 more because of the shares, $900 broken by how many shares. We do that for the first 2 rounds. And then it's structured payouts for the Sweet 16, Elite 8, Final 4, and then the championship game. Roughly, if you were to have the team that won it all, adding all those rounds together, I think you end up winning about $1,400. And the last little caveat, because I know somebody's moaning and groaning already, because I don't want to get stuck with a 16 seed. Yeah, me neither. Okay, me neither. So what we did was, if your team loses by the most points in the first round, you get your $75 back.
There we
So
go.
if you got a 16 seed and you lose by 45 or whatever it is, congratulations. Here's your $75 back. So I'm real excited about that. I'll be pushing that here, obviously, once we get closer to March, but that's top of mind just because I finished the details on that. So I'm sorry, I took up way too much of your time.
You're the man, Your Highness. WeWinYouWin.com at Shut Up and Bet. Go check all it out. Go buy a square, get a month then also, or buy 2 squares, get 2 months. It's a lot of fun. Appreciate your time, brother. We'll talk again soon.
Yeah, and to the people out there, just remember the Super Bowl is supposed to be fun. If you're betting more than what makes it uncomfortable or not fun for you, you know your limit, please stay within your limits, folks. These books are too sharp on the Super Bowl. You're not looking for many edges there, to be honest with you. All right,
All
I'm
right.
out.
All right. We'll talk soon. Thanks, brother. That was your Highness. Chad at WeWinUwin.com. Go check him out. I'm telling you, and the social media stuff he puts out there, it is second to none. All his picks are out there for you to. He's transparent about all the picks he makes. And again, great social media follow. And the 16 bets, the $100 to 1 million, he got up to where, and it's not like the way he's got it set up. Is it? This first bet's $100. If that hits, the next one's $150. So you pull some of your profit back in all likelihood. Then it's $250. Pull a little more back, and then it starts escalating from there. I know he made it to his $1,500 bet the other day. Missed that one. It was like a NHL game to have a total of more than 6 goals, more than 6.5 what it was. It ended up being right at 6. So he missed that one. But even so, even missing on that, he did have $1,500 on that game, but he still had like a $300 or $400 profit that he accumulated along the way. So he still made money on that chain, even though he lost a $1,500 bet. He still made money on it. And now, folks, look, we're into February. That's last time I checked, right before March, which is when the madness starts. We're joined now by Jacob Reimer. He's from 10 TV and 97.1 The Fan. Yes, Jacob, I'm going to keep extending that 10 TV joke with you. Jacob Reimer, a bit of a, I would say, hoops junkie, but that's not doing it justice. He's a hoops aficionado. Let's put it that way. Rhyme, as we are we are into February right now, and you start looking at teams that are on the bubble. And we know being Columbus, Ohio State's constantly on the bubble. But among the bubble teams, the ones that you look at now as are maybe could get in, might not get in, is there a team that stands out to you as somebody who might have the potential to make some noise in the tournament if they get in?
I am like I think I honestly maybe some slight bias. I like Ohio State if they're able to creep in there because of the different shot making that they have with Bruce Thornton and John Mobley Jr. Like those, especially a guy like John Mobley Jr., who it looks like he is kind of built for March. It seems like if he can just get in there, the way that he's able to shoot the basketball, I think it would be a fun opportunity for him, a fun opportunity for Bruce Thornton, of course, too, if they're able to get in there. I don't know about like make some massive noise, but maybe pull off an upset, get a win, get into the round of 32. Maybe I think certainly that could be the case. I'm looking up here at Lenardi's bracketology and his last 4 in. Texas is interesting. They've got a nice win at Alabama. Dalen Swain, I saw him at Xavier a few years ago, and I love his upside as a potential NBA 3-and-D guy. That guy's a really, he's a stud and can get Texas into the tournament. Georgia is an interesting team. UCLA, the message with March is having good guard play. And Donovan Dent has slowly come along here for UCLA. As long as Mick Cronin isn't fighting his own players, I think they could be a team to look out for because Donovan Dent is that explosive. If he's in a rhythm and rolling, UCLA could be a pretty dangerous team.
What's the best conference top to bottom right now?
Oh, top to bottom. I think I'd probably have to go Big 12 just because like I can sit here like you can argue Big 10 because you got Michigan and the way Illinois has come along, you got Purdue, but the Big 10's mostly top heavy just because of those 3 and Michigan State's in there too, but like Big 12, you got Arizona, you got Houston. Like I think both of those teams are very capable of cutting down the nets. I love Texas Tech still. They had a rough start, was banged up, and now they're getting healthy and still looking pretty good. Kansas, that's a team to really look out for now with getting Darren Peterson back because he has looked phenomenal. They've won 6 in a row. Their defense has been great all year. They've just been missing Darren Peterson, and now they're getting him back. They won 6 in a row with wins over Iowa State, BYU, and Texas Tech on the road at Texas Tech, which winning in Lubbock is not an easy thing to do. Like Houston, they went in there a few weeks ago, and Kingston Fleming's one of the best freshmen, one of my favorite freshman guards to watch in this class, had 42, and they still didn't win that game. It's not easy to win in Lubbock, and Kansas went in there. Darren Peterson had some big moments at the end of the game, hitting 2 clutch threes. Kansas is a sneaky Final Four national title contender for sure. I didn't even mention Iowa State too. Like Iowa State's awesome. Like the Big 12 is insane.
You mentioned Kansas. Just for the record, I don't believe Tim Hall listens to the show. No reason to suck up right now. But when you Miami, Ohio is
Kansas and wearing a Carolina jersey
fair.
right now is pretty crazy too.
Miami, Ohio is 23-0, and I know the MAC is very rarely a multi-bid league. But if, say, Miami finishes with one loss and it comes in the MAC tournament, maybe not even the final, maybe it's a semifinal or whatever, quarter, whatever it be. If they would have one loss, would they still get in the tournament?
I think if they have one loss for sure. I think the max you could get is probably
Right.
2. If you get 3, you're probably going to be on the outside of the bubble looking in, which stinks because they are a lot of fun. They spread you out. They have shooters everywhere all throughout their roster. It's a really fun style of basketball to watch, and it's a lot of guys from last year. They're 4th in the nation in roster continuity. So a lot of these guys that went to the MAC championship last year and lost wanted to come back and have a chance to run it back, and they're doing. I don't know that they expected this, but they're doing a special thing right now, and to finish the year with maybe 2 losses and not make the NCAA tournament, that would be a real shame. But I will say, I think there's a legit shot that we could get a 2-bid MAC, which would be unbelievable. Because if you're looking at like KenPom or any of the analytics metric sites, Akron is in like the top 60 on most brackets or most sites. Miami of Ohio is outside of the top 100 on some, and they're like right there in that 90 to 100 range too. So like, there's a big difference in between them, and that's where I'm worried that like Akron could catch them. Miami of Ohio did beat them already during this season, but that will be a very interesting game if they're able to meet again for the MAC championship for the second year in a row, especially if Miami is still undefeated at the time, and what the selection committee would do if Akron wins. I think you got to put both in, like, because Miami right now, I would think would be like an 8 or a 9 seed, an 8 to 11 range, and if they finish with 1 loss, even 2, I feel like you still got to put.
Okay, now let's play the hypothetical game. Let's say Miami goes undefeated. What is the best seed an undefeated Miami team would likely get in the NCAA tournament?
Trying to do some quick math on the fly now, and that's not good. I'm sure you can probably see this. I want to say the best possible would probably be a 7, I think. I'm trying to think. There's 4 teams of each seed. If you're going through the top 25, they're in the top 25 right now. So like that would put them in that 6 to 7, 6,
Right.
7
Oh, there you
range.
go. It's a young guy. There we go. Young guy.
But I think you're realistically probably at like a 7 or an 8 for them if they are able to run the table and go.
God, it feels like an 8 be so disrespectful because then you got to play a 1 seed in the second round. Like, I don't know if I know they don't necessarily play into that. Allegedly, they don't look at matchups and whatever and things like that. They just do the straight seeding of people. But it feels to me like if they make them a 7 or an 8, it's all an 8 especially almost disrespectful. Like a 6 would be.
Yeah.
If you're undefeated in the MAC, and I know the MAC is not the Big 12, the Big 10, yeah, whatever. But if you're undefeated in the MAC, that means you never had an off night,
Mm-hmm. And the way their style of play is, it sets up for a potential upset. Like if you're a 7 or an 8, if you're one of that 1 or 2 seed on the other side that you can meet in the round of 32, you do not want Miami, because if they're hot and they can easily have 3 to 4 guys get hot, that's going to be a problem. That's the recipe of having upsets in March, is just that little mid-major team that gets hot all of a sudden, and it's their night. And it's been Miami's night all season.
Right.
So if they're able to keep this up, that could be really problematic for one of these 1s or 2 seeds. And the 1s and 2 seeds are great this year. Like I saw something I think last week of like the teams ranked in the top 10 only have a combined like 13 losses, and that's like the lowest since like 3 years ago, maybe. Like it's insanely deep this year. So it would be a shame for one of those 1s or 2 seeds to get got by Miami, but if that's how it falls, that's how it falls.
Am I wrong? Does it seem like the freshman class this year is putting up bigger numbers, more monster type numbers than most years? Or is that just am I being deceived by that?
I think this is the greatest freshman class there's ever
Really?
been. Like it's I've never seen anything like it. You're seeing multiple 40 bombs each night, 30 pieces. Like the level of attention that Darren Peterson and AJ DeBanza got last
Mhm.
Saturday was unbelievable. And you're getting it this Saturday with Caleb Wilson and Cam Boozer. If I expect another set of big games from those two guys, just I know DeBanza still finished with 17. It was a quiet 17 because it felt like he was kind of shut down for the most part, and Richie Saunders went crazy for BYU. But like Darren Peterson got off to that great start. But before that, you've got, like I mentioned, Kingston Flemings earlier went for 42 at Texas Tech. That same night, DeBanza went for 43. Keaton Wagler came out of nowhere. He was outside of the top 100 in this class. And now he's looking like a potential lottery pick. Just put up 46 at Purdue, which is the most points ever in Mackey Arena for an opponent.
That was an amazing night. Yeah.
So, yeah, like it's something different each night with this freshman class. Each week there's some big time performances. I'm not mentioning a handful of guys that like if you're an NBA GM executive and you're not in that top 5, I feel like you're still feeling pretty good about yourself. Like you're going to have a stud waiting for you in that 6 to 10 range, even 6 to 15 maybe.
10 TV's a 97.1 The Fan in Columbus, Ohio. Jacob Reimer joins us right now. Okay, so the freshmen doing that, is it just because the evolution of players, they're better, they're playing more before they get to college, and that's why they're better? Is it because there is so much turnover in college basketball with the transfer portal and guys leaving early that there's not as many skilled veterans as there might be in years past, even though we're getting some G League players back into the college fold? Like, is there something you can attribute that to, or is it just that year?
Well, and the crazy thing is, like, Cooper Flagg was supposed to be in this class. That's how ridiculous. And there's been a whole bunch of stuff thrown out there that he wouldn't be in the top 5 of this class, which is crazy because he's averaging 35 a game the last 4 games in the NBA. Almost had a 50 ball against Charlotte the other night. So like that's crazy. But I wonder if it's just we're finally back to normal from COVID.
Yeah.
Like it feels like it's like we're to that point where this class was able to get that full all the way through high school experience, the right development. And you've got the EYBL, Peach Jams, and everything. Like Caleb Wilson and Cam Boozer were on the same Peach Jam team, and they just ran things. So like maybe they're getting the right development that some of the guys that in previous years weren't getting. And a few years ago, you had guys skipping college and going to the G League. Of course, like you just mentioned, now they're trying to come back. But I feel like it just could be we're finally past that and we're into some normalcy here where they're getting that full high school experience and development, and they're getting the full summers into their freshman years in college. I feel like COVID maybe played a big factor for sure, especially like right out of the gates. It did definitely, but even the following years after that, it doesn't seem like it was as loaded as this class is, and maybe it's just because we're finally past
Top 4 teams in the country right now in the rankings: Arizona, Michigan, UConn, and Duke. Out of those 4, which one is most likely to be in the Final Four? Which one is least likely?
It's interesting because a lot of people want to mention Arizona hasn't played the tough part of their Big 12 schedule, which is coming up. They have a gauntlet here in February, having to play Houston. They have to play at Kansas on Monday night. They still get Iowa State too. So they haven't gotten the heat of their Big 12 schedule, but they tested themselves at the beginning of the year. They had 5 top 25 wins in the month of November. I feel like Arizona is right there. I love UConn, but I'm worried that like they could get a little Gonzaga treatment this year with like because the Big East has been garbage outside of St. John's, who's come along now in conference play. But like that's the thing. The Big East is maybe going to be a 2-bid league with UConn and St. John's. I still really like them and Dan Hurley's mind. Like they can still get there. Duke is weird because outside of Cam Boozer, it's like each night someone else is stepping up, and it's not consistently the same guy. And I'm worried about their guard play a little bit. Ask me that question again. Sorry.
Arizona, UConn, Michigan, Duke. The one most likely to be in the Final Four, the one least likely to be in the Final Four.
I think I want to go Arizona because they tested themselves at the beginning of the year. I feel like they're going to be just fine during the stretch in February because they've got all the right pieces. You've got an experienced guard accompanied with an elite freshman guard who's really come along, and then you got a nice front court there as well with some solid 3-and-D guys. So I like Arizona. I'll go Duke just because I still don't trust their backcourt play. And like I said at the top, like you need to have strong guard play to win games in March.
Would you ever quit a job if they did not give you time off to watch the NCAA basketball tournament?
I mean, I feel like I can watch games as I work.
Right now, you can. No, right. I'm saying, but if there was a job you had, or has there ever been a job where you say, I need these days off because I need to be home watching the games. I need to be home watching the quad box or whatever like that. Have you ever considered, or would you consider leaving employment? Now, it's a different answer now because you got a baby. You got a wife and a baby. I got to make sure you're qualified. It's not just you're not just like a single dad. I don't want to put it that way, but you've got a wife and a baby. And so maybe that changes your answer now than what it would have been like, say, 5, 6, 7 years ago. But
yeah. Well, I've only had one other job before this, so I think
you're such a young lucky bastard.
I know. I think if it came down to it, I probably would.
Okay.
Just because I need to be so involved with it.
Are you tough to watch games with, or are you easy?
I feel like I'm pretty easy. I'm pretty talkative during games. I guess it depends on the game. Like this Saturday, it might be a little rough. I need to be locked in. Like, sorry to the wife and baby, you're going to have to take control for the next 2.5 hours, however long this game goes, because I'm going to need to be locked in on this and can't miss a second of it. But I feel like I'm pretty easy. And like I usually throw up the quad box, even maybe sometimes have some on my laptop just to have more, like 6 games or something.
Why not?
That.
Yeah, why not? I can't wait to teach your daughter to hold up another screen like next to you. Like just stay. Like that'd be a punishment. Like, hey, look, I told you to eat your peas. Okay, hold the screen for 10 minutes for daddy. That's your punishment. You'll learn discipline. That'll be great at the Reimer household. That'll be awesome.
Yep.
Thanks so much for the time. Where can people find you on social media with all those sick videos you put up?
So I'm on Twitter at RhymeTime05 and then on TikTok at Jacob Reimer.
There you go. OnlyFans? Never mind. Reimer, thanks for the time, buddy. We appreciate it. We'll talk again soon.
Yep. Thanks, Tito. Appreciate it, man.
That was Jacob Reimer there joining us. I'm telling you, dude, the dude knows his hoops. He knows his hoops. What I need to do now is combine him with your Highness. I got to get the two of them and kind of meld together because I'm telling you, Rhyme Time's knowledge on hoops. You put him with your Highness's his degenerative state, I guess I would say. Like, that sounds bad. Degenerative state means like you're degenerating. No, I don't mean that. I want your Highness to not be degenerative. But the way your Highness operates, put him with that mind, that basketball mind of Rhyme Time, and we'll all get rich during March Madness. All right, folks, that's it for this edition of the Jeff Thitoff Show. I'm Tito, Jeff Thitoff. Follow me on Twitter at ThitHappens. Check out all of our great stuff on FanStream Sports Ohio. Thank you to Jacob Reimer, RhymeTime05. Thank you to your Highness, Chad at WeWinYouWin.com. Go buy a Super Bowl square. I promise you, you'll have fun. If you don't, I won't give you your money back, but I will apologize to you if you don't have fun. All right, that's it for my show today. Thanks so much. We'll talk again soon.